today especially, it's a dream come true for them. They've striven over the last number of years to get to a Munster final, and it's a great opportunity for them today. But it's a fantastic feeling, being in the dressing room before the match. There's a lot of hype, there's a lot of excitement, obviously there's a lot of tension there as well, but when you run onto the field and you hear the roar of the supporters, it's a majestic feeling, and one that I will always cherish, and one that I'll always remember down through the years.
Well, Pete Finnerty, obviously you're looking forward to this match as well. Before we look forward to the game, we have to look back to last night. Galway beat Roscommon in the Connacht final. You were at that match. Closer than people thought.
Yeah, very much closer than people thought. And even myself, I thought that it was a non-runner. But Roscommon played extremely well, and Michael Keneally has put a good structure on the side. And they have to build from here. That's the only thing. One swallow never made a summer, so they have to go on from here and get better league campaign and be in a better shape next year to take on Galway. Galway will be happy in the sense, I know Thurles will be happy. Yeah. Players mightn't be happy they didn't play that well, but Farrell can drive the players now for another 2 weeks, and he's a quarter-final then.
OK, Pete, thanks very much for the moment. Now let me just give you the result of the minor match down there in Thurles. That was between Cork and Tipperary. It was Cork 3-13, Clare 8 points was the result of that match. So big win, obviously, there in that game. Well, now let's take a look at our players to watch item. Who are the men on the Waterford team whom Tomas Mulcahy thinks could swing it today? Well, let's find out.
Tony Brown, midfield for Waterford. One of Waterford's most consistent performer in their 3 biggest games this year. Small in stature, but has the heart of a lion. He is a real workhorse in the middle of the park, and he works endlessly to help his players around him and will always choose to pick the right option. His overall strength is his stamina and his ability to get around the field. Here we see him back in defence, clearing his lines very effectively. Today Waterford will need again a very, very big game from Tony Brown. Paul Flynn, left corner forward for Waterford. People doubted his discipline and his ability for big games. But for me, he no longer allows himself to be intimidated or upset by his opponents, and allows his hurling do the talking. Has great ability to score from long range and close range, and also has the vision to bring other players into the game. He has been Waterford's top marksman in their games to date and will be a key man in their forward division.
Yes, that's the way Tomas Mulcahy sees it with the Waterford players. Well, now let's hear what Peter Finnerty thinks about the pick of the Clare players. Here's his ones to watch from the Banner County.
Niall Gilligan, Clare's right corner forward. Niall is one of the up-and-coming stars in Clare today. Here we see him in action against Cork the last day. Out first, takes the ball on the hurley, has a little look up, straight over the bar. Bread and butter that every corner forward should be able to do. Here we see a different side of his game, his defensive qualities when he doesn't have possession. Hassling Brian Corcoran until eventually Corcoran makes a mistake and concedes the line ball. For a small man, Gilligan is very strong. Here we see him taking on the corner back, tracking the full back, and laying the pass out to his full forward who is free, who eventually taps it over the bar. Clare will be looking for another big performance from Gilligan today. Sean McMahon, Clare's centre back, and the cornerstone that Gerald Mann has built his team upon. Great positional sense. Here he comes, first to the ball, looks up, strikes it into the full forward line. McMahon is very intelligent, reading all situations well, in behind his wing back. Again, long clearance down the field for his corner forward to come on to. Very, very strong under the high ball, up, catches, and gets his clearance on his weaker side. Clare will be looking for this cornerstone to give a big inspirational display again today.
Yeah, that Clare team, of course, has become so well known to us over the years. Can they do it again today, Tomas Mulcahy?
I think so. The preparation that these Clare lads put into their training, into their game, the discipline they have on and off the field has been a joy to watch over the last number of years. They've had a very, very impressive victory over Cork, and I think they're going to march on today. A lot of people predict that they're going to win comfortably. I don't think so. I think Waterford will put it up to them, but I think Clare will shade it in the end.
It's interesting, Pete, that people a few years ago would have been going for the underdogs in this, and it would have been Clare in a Munster final. Now they're the top dogs, Waterford the underdogs.
Yeah, it's incredible the way things have changed in Munster. Without Cork and Tipperary involved, we're still expecting a very exciting game today. Waterford have a great chance today, but they have to dictate the pace of the game to Clare. Clare were in trouble against Cork when Cork dictated the pace of the game, but once Clare got on top, there was no stopping them. So if Waterford can get their noses in front, and there's a very strong breeze there, which will have a big influence on the game, I prefer if Waterford played against it. But in the end of the day, I think Clare are going to come through. They're more physical and have that better balanced side.
Okay, well, a big day for the two counties, obviously, then. Big day for the players and their mentors, and Kieran Malooly has been looking behind the scenes at Thurles in the build-up to this afternoon's match.
Over 53,000 fans have come to Semple Stadium in Thurles for what can only be described as a very special Munster hurling final. It's only the second time in history that Waterford and Clare have played in a final, and you've got to go back to 1938 for that meeting, a match which was won by Waterford. Weather conditions this afternoon are not so good. Like much of the country, there's been heavy rain overnight. We've had sporadic showers this morning in Thurles, and a very, very strong wind is blowing towards the town end of the ground, a factor which could be significant before the afternoon is out. Both teams, of course, are in the dressing rooms, and both sets of management teams are looking forward to the game.
It's a Munster final, and you know, it's a two-horse race at this stage, and certainly we feel that Clare certainly deserve to be favourites, but that we're not coming up here without any hope ourselves. We certainly feel we have a team good enough to win the Munster Championship.
What's the news from the Waterford camp this morning or this afternoon? Any team problems?
No, thankfully everything is fine. Everybody's okay. No injuries, no late shocks, no nothing. We're going as we're selected.
You're playing Clare, of course, who've been known not to go as per selected. Have you planned for any of their changes?
Well, obviously we look at previous things that have happened, but you know, quite honestly, yeah, I prefer to concentrate on my own side, my own strengths, and you know, there'll be time enough to look at the opposition once the game starts.
Gerard McCarthy, the best of luck, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tony Considine, another Munster final. What's the state of Clare hurling this afternoon?
Well, it's in good form. We're in good form at the moment, just looking forward to getting out in the field now and getting on with the game. You know, everyone is in tip-top shape, so we're looking forward to the game.
We've got to ask you, what will be the Clare line-out this afternoon, because, you know, even the media in particular have been making the point that often what the teams in the programme is not the team that lines out in the field.
Clare are definitely going to line out the way they've been picked, you know, so that's for sure.
Any injury problems at all? What sort of preparation have you put in for this final?
Well, we're put in the same preparation we put in for the Cork game. Waterford are a very good team, so we're coming here today do exactly the same way as we came for the Cork game.
It's a different sort of Munster final this year. You're not slaying the dragon at this occasion. You're slaying, if you are going to slay anyone, it's a new set, a new team in Munster hurling, Waterford.
It's still a Munster final, and no matter who you're playing, the Munster final is the Munster final, so at the end of the day, you have to go out and perform as well, no matter who you're playing.
And you're confident?
Yes, hopefully confident, yeah.
Tony, thank you very much.
Well, that's how they view it down in Clare. We'll see what exactly is going to happen very shortly. Before that, we have a commercial break to take.
It's the unique taste of Mars combined with smooth melting ice cream that makes it so irresistible. Galway. July 27th to the 1st of August.
In any game, there's only one winner. Berger Paints. Looking good, lasting longer.
Long after the fans and players have gone home, the 4 billion TV watchers have switched off, and all the others have taken their billboards down, one company will still be there, pushing to make a ball that goes even faster, boots that make players even more powerful. Because to us, each World Cup is a signpost, not a destination.
See the exclusive range of bathroom suites in PJ Matthews showrooms at Ballysimon Road, Limerick. Nobody matches Matthews, the plumbing and heating specialists.
For your house, insist on Qualpex Flexible Plumbing and Heating Pipe, the market leader with international approvals for drinking water and central and underfloor heating systems. Specify Qualpex.
New Woman Readers voted it Best New Skincare Product 97, and Vogue said it gave spectacular effects in 10 days. This cream's unique formula will give you visibly more radiant, younger-looking skin within 10 days. And the name? Daily Renewal Cream from Oil of Ulay. We can prove you can look younger.
The new Furniture Centre Cork Super Anniversary Sale is now on. Massive reductions in sitting room, dining room, kitchen and bedroom furniture. Open 7 days and on Sunday 2:30 to 6.
Look it up, check it out. The Red Book for what's available in your area. Tasha, the business and shopping guide that's used nationwide by thousands. It's guaranteed Irish.
I wanted to find some experts to try out new Uncle Ben's two-step fry and stir. So, who better? The sauce contains 2 layers and cooks in 2 easy steps. Step 1, fry the top layer of aromatic oil and crunchy vegetables, releasing those authentic flavors and aromas, and add some chicken. Step 2, stir in the second layer of sauce, then simmer and savor for a delicious restaurant taste. The experts were head over heels.
New Uncle Ben's two-step fry and stir sauces. Perfect every time.
Head for the sale. The Semple Menswear Summer Sale is now on. Amazing value throughout the store. The Semple Menswear Summer Sale, Cork.
Standard life. Enjoy a better standard of living.
Welcome back again. So it's Clare and Waterford then in the Munster hurling final in Thurles. Great occasion, of course, today at Semple Stadium, and looking forward to that, as we are, is our commentator, Ger Canning.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael, and you're welcome back to Semple Stadium. And it really is a most wonderful occasion. There's a great sense of occasion in Thurles down in the town this morning, and what a reception the teams are receiving. This down here at the town end, the Waterford supporters, and they are back in the big time, or at least they would like to think so. They last reached a Munster final back in 1989, beaten by Tipperary. And how about this for a welcome that Waterford are receiving? And the Waterford team then led out onto the field by Stephen Frampton, an absolutely fantastic welcome for them. Half the ground here covered in Waterford supporters, bearing the colours, of course, of their native county. And they got about 18,500 tickets, they were telling me, last Monday night. But I think they have many more than 18,000 fans here in Thurles this afternoon. And as I say, hoping to see their side once again take victory. Billy O'Sullivan here, the most experienced of their players. He was in the 1989 final. Indeed, he scored a point in that particular match. And today, Billy is playing in his 18th championship match for his native county. Well, the talk in Waterford ever since the semi-final win against Tipperary, of course, has been all about victory, all about the merit of their sides. So many people have told them that they have little or no chance. But this is the Waterford side that they have named. It's the 15 that started and finished against Tipperary in that semi-final, brilliantly led by wing-back Stephen Frampton. The 2 experienced members of the side, as I say, are full-back Sean Cullinan and corner-forward Billy O'Sullivan, both of whom played in that 1989 Munster final, the last contested by the Déisha men. Cullinan coming into that final as a sub. And now the Waterford fans stand, but it's the turn of Clare, wearing the tracksuit tops, led out by Anthony Daly, their team captain. Just listen to the ovation that they're receiving, hoping to win a 3rd Munster championship in 4 years. Quite a record. They've only ever won just a handful of Munster titles, and here they are now with Liam Doyle, their right half back, playing in a Munster final for the 22nd time. Half of the ground is full of Clare fans, the other half full of Waterford fans. The atmosphere electric, and it really is the place to be. There's been a buzz in Thurles and Liberty Square down there since about 11 o'clock this morning. James O'Connor will be one of those that they will be particularly looking to, and the man who's led them to such a wonderful 1990s Ger Loughnane. Well, Ger and his fellow selectors will be very wary of the breeze this afternoon. It is blowing and gusting right down the field. Mike McNamara is there as well alongside Ger Loughnane. And it's going to be interesting to see just who wins the toss and whether they will opt to go with the breeze for the opening 35 minutes or not. There is certainly a school of thought that Waterford, the more inexperienced side, should opt for the breeze at their backs for the first half. It's just possible, of course, that Clare might win the toss enough to play against the wind, so we'll just have to see how that one pans out. Now, Clare have announced an unchanged team from that which started against Cork, and that means there's no room for the Sparrow, Ger Loughlane, as PG O'Connell starts his 17th championship match. Brian Quinn and Alan Markham, both surprise inclusions before the semi-final, get to play in their first Munster final, which is also the case for the more experienced Eamon Taff. It's a red-letter day for David Fitzgerald and Anthony Daly, both appearing in the championship for the 21st time. And every kind of headgear in use. There really is quite an industry at major matches nowadays. So many sellers of banners, of necklaces, of flags, everything possible to identify you as a supporter of one particular county. P.G. O'Connell from O'Callaghan's Mills, the ever-reliable player, took a break, of course, for the league, but there was never really any disputing his intentions to return, and these Clare fans in particular are very pleased that he did, because he gives his side great experience. There's Sean McMahon playing in his 13th championship match this afternoon as Clare come down now to have the team photograph taken. And the toss across on the far side, Anthony Daly on the left-hand side, and it's Stephen Frampton who gets to captain Waterford. Now, who's going to make the call? It's Stephen Frampton who's won the toss and is opting to play against the wind for the first 35 minutes. That seemed to be the indication. So Waterford continue their preparation, and the track-suited men from Clare are busy getting the photographs taken. But they've had such a wonderful series of success over these last number of years. 5 finals in 6 years, that's quite an achievement for a county that was absolutely success-starved coming into the 1990s. And I suppose they came within a Kieran-Carey puck in 96 of possibly making it 6 final appearances in 6 years. So Waterford continue to prepare on the right-hand side here, and that is their centre-half-back, Fergal Hartley, a wonderfully gifted centre-half-back, a member of the famed Ballygunner club, and a man who's captained them to county success. It's his 8th championship match this afternoon. That's a very enterprising half-back line of Frampton, Hartley and Green, and of course Brown and Queally will really be the men that they will be looking to in the centre of the field. Now, just a little while ago this happened, and the chopper descended from the skies, and there's Her Excellency President Mary McAleese coming down here in an adjoining field just outside the stand across from us here, making her way with husband Martin to the Munster final. And then back here, this is the scene that she's about to witness as she's being introduced now to the crowd. A smiling president coming to her first ever final. Sean Kelly on the right hand side there, the chairman of the Munster Council, and her husband Martin in the background there with a wine tie, a man who's got an abiding interest in Gaelic games. And now the presidential salute. Team still assembling in this breezy afternoon here. Got a very quick glimpse there of John Newton, the Roscommon player in the background, as Her Excellency approaches and the players get into formation to be introduced to our first citizen. It was an ambition of hers to attend a Munster final down in County Tipperary, the home of hurling. She's a great sports follower, I know. Well, again, an indication of what is a very gusty, blustery afternoon here. Semple Stadium packed to the rafters, as always. 50,000 people are thereabouts. And Anthony Daly now having the privilege of introducing his team members. Jamesy O'Connor being introduced, and down along the line they go. For Anthony Daly, it's a particular honour and privilege. Like Davy Fitzgerald, he made his championship debut against Limerick in 1990 when the banner standard was lowered that day by 2:16 to 1:5. How things have changed and how Ger Loughnane has assisted that change over the years. Willie Barrett now the referee this afternoon, with Pat O'Connor and John Sexton from Limerick, his two officials, and also the men who very rarely get a mention, but they're the umpires this afternoon. And they're there as well to meet Her Excellency Richie Boyle, Sean Barrett, Danny Whelan and Michael O'Mahony. And now Stephen Frampton's turn. One of a strong group of Ballygunner players playing this afternoon for Waterford. Rank outsiders, of course, in most people's books, and that's because of the amazing finish that Clare put in that match here against Cork some weeks ago. Level pegging with about 10 minutes to go, and the sheer intensity of their play after that left a lot of people wondering, was there any side anywhere that could live with Clare? So Her Excellency the President then, having been introduced, gets a very warm and enthusiastic reception from Clare people, from Waterford people, from Munster people everywhere. But it's not just a Munster occasion. I always think the Munster final is very much a national sporting occasion as well. This will be watched everywhere and anywhere. And of course, one person missing today, Jimmy Smith of Clare. He's watching, I know. And also Eddie Young, the chairman of the bars. Gerald McCarthy said say hello to him. So the President takes her seat, and we'll be back soon for the start of the latest Munster final, the 109th Munster hurling final.
Yes, absolutely. Great scene, as I said, down there in Thurles. The blue and white flags of Waterford certainly seem to be the dominant colour from those pictures that we've seen here. By the way, Ger, sending greetings to people. I must send greetings to Sinead Kilbride down in Castlebar, and to daughter Heather, who's just 1 week old today. Tomas Mulcahy, the toss has gone, as Ger estimates there, in Waterford's favour. They've chosen to play against the breeze, and that's the way we figured it would go.
Yeah, and it's going to be a particularly tough first half for the Waterford backs. I mean, defending, it looks like a very, very strong breeze, you know, so it will be important for them that they get off to a good start themselves and they don't cave in to the Clare pressure, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pressure on them in the first half. And it'll be interesting to see what tactics Gerald McCarthy used. Maybe he might bring back one of his midfielders, drop back into the half-back line and bring out one of their forward division and try and hold and pin Clare down and get in a half-time, knowing if he's not too far behind that they have a great chance then in the second half.
Now, you know Gerald. You've obviously worked with him. Tell me exactly what it is that he's brought to this Waterford setup that they didn't have before.
Well, obviously he's brought this confidence about winning. I mean, Gerald has been a fantastic player himself. He's been in management where he had successful teams as well. But when he went to Waterford, he knew they had a very, very good bunch of players. They had a very, very committed bunch of players. But he's brought a tremendous discipline into their team. In Championship hurling, in Munster hurling, you've got to be prepared to take the knock and get on with the game. That's what the game is all about. And he has done this. And you now see Waterford players getting very much involved in the play, but not reacting, and that is something that they've done in the past, and he's changed that completely. They've all been on the Neutron diet from the start of the year as well. Their discipline and their commitment now, I'm sure, is on a par as the Clare team that we see at the moment. So it has the makings of a very, very good game, and I'm sure Waterford will give a very, very good account of themselves.
Because Pete Finnerty, you were making the point before that sometimes going down to play Waterford in Waterford on Welsh Park and that wasn't necessarily the happiest thing that you had to do during a National League campaign or whatever.
No, in fairness, and with all due respect to Waterford in the past, it was very physical, and they got very excited, and there was hurleys broken on the table before they went out, and they played more from the heart than anywhere else. And when things started going against them, they began to lose the head a little bit. But as Tomas was saying, Gerald has changed all this. They're now focused on the ball, they're focused on their own ability, and they have great belief in their own ability. That's one thing that he has instilled into them. And I can see them, there was a fear earlier on that they may flop in Championship hurling, but getting the win over Tipperary the last day, there'll be no flop today. Now, they are playing against a stiff breeze, and it is important that they button down the hatches early on, and they don't allow Clare to get this lead that they can't pull back. Because Clare are very good finishing a game, but Waterford will have the breeze now. Clare won the All-Ireland playing with the breeze in the second half. Waterford beat Tip playing with the breeze in the second half. So it's in favour of Waterford now at the moment.
I suppose one problem that Waterford have today, Tomas, and it will be the problem that Tipperary would have had or Cork would have on a different day or whatever, is they're playing against a class act.
They are, and you have to give credit to Clare. I mean, they have been brilliant performers over the last number of years. the attitude of the Clare team, I'm sure, is going to be as good as it was the last day against Cork. You've seen in the first 10 minutes, they totally outwitted Cork. Tactically, on the field of play, they put a lot of pressure on the Cork defence. Their forwards were chasing every ball, and they chased the ball in packs, and they put pressure on Brian Corcoran. I'm sure the forwards are going to be doing exactly the same today. Clare, I'm sure, are not going to take Waterford for granted. A lot of people are saying they're going to win this and win it easily. If they take it for granted, I think they could actually suffer at the end of the game.
Having said that, though, I mean, the last day against Cork, I mean, they raised their game big time for that. And Gerald Nan would admit that himself. He even said it in interviews. There's another chance here, even if Clare didn't make it today. I know they want to win that Munster title, but they will still be in the championship. Can that put a little edge into it?
It can put a little edge into it, and as you say correctly, 8 minutes to go in the game against Cork, there was still only 2 points in it, even though they finished very, very strongly and ran away with an 8-point win. This competitive edge will be there. It's a Munster hurling final. Clare won't want to take the chance. If they lose today, they're probably going to meet Galway in All-Ireland quarter-final. They won't want to take that chance. They want to win it and win it on merit and win a Munster title to go on to the next game in All-Ireland semi-final. So they won't take any chances today.
In our players to watch, Pete, we were taking out Tony Brown and Paul Flynn from the Waterford side as two fellas who will have to deliver today. And this is absolutely the truth, because Waterford but would if they played well, it would be that added bonus.
It would be that added bonus, and Brown playing at midfield is playing in one of the areas that Clare have dominated in the last year, and especially the last day against Cork. Ollie Baker is out there and Colin Lynch, and Brown is out there with Quealy, and they're two excellent midfielders. Now it's vital who wins that clash, especially when the ball is dropping there with the sharpened puck out against the breeze. So midfield will be in it big time today. Flynn is an inspirational character for Waterford, and if Flynn comes up with a big one today, you'll see the likes of Billy O'Sullivan and players like that coming into the game as well. But if Flynn fails and his frees aren't going over and he's under pressure, the heads may drop. So it is a big one that Flynn comes up trumps again today.
OK, gentlemen, thank you very much for that. So then let's head back again to Thurles for what we believe will be a fascinating Munster hurling final.
We certainly hope so, Michael. Yes, the backs have gone back into their position. It's as we anticipated. Stephen Frampton did indeed win the toss, and he opts to play against the wind for the first 35 minutes. It's an absolutely wonderful, colourful but blustery scene here at Semple Stadium this afternoon. And this gentleman here, I'm sure, has the fingers crossed that his side can win another Munster title. Frampton and Brian Greene, by the way, have switched positions straight away. Taking a look around to see how many changes Clare have made, if indeed any. No indication of anything so far. Clare are unchanged. No positional switches. Is that a first? Match is underway. It's the 109th Munster hurling final. And straight away that is Brian Quinn making the clearance there for Clare. And Clare will be hoping to build up a decent lead towards half-time. Tony Brown leaving it behind. Ollie Baker is there as well. Will it be Baker against Quealy in the middle of the field? That was anticipated. Here's Billy O'Sullivan against the wind, trying to take on the whole of the Clare backline. Throwing it outside here towards Dave Bennett. Getting it inside towards big Dan Shanahan. Popping up on the left-hand side. Jersey pulled. Referee says play away. The shot is just to the right. First attack then falling to Waterford. And Dan Shanahan from Lismore coming close. Dan, who has won 5 county under-21 titles with his club, formerly of Lismore CBS. Davy Fitzgerald back on the ground where he scored a penalty goal some years ago in the Munster final. Towards PJ O'Connell, spills past him. It's Fergal Hartley who's back. Can be such an influence. Waterford hoping he'll get the ball away early. Into the centre towards Peter Quealy. Pulled on over there by Dan Shanahan. The referee says hang on a while. That was a foul. Speaking to Dan, explaining exactly why. Pulling before the ball had arrived. It's going to be a free downfield to Clare. Anthony Daly still feeling the effects of that challenge. Along with the breeze this afternoon, there's a fair degree of mist from time to time. The team doctor's been out to have a check on Anthony Daly's well-being. He's okay. So the free to Sean McMahon. Rain lashing down just now. Wind behind him from 65 metres out. Then he's put it off the post and back down here again. Oh, what a chance for a goal! Alan Morgan. What a start! Clare go a goal in front. from that long-range free by Sean McMahon. This is what happened. Back it came once again. Falling out there to the man in the corner. Alan Markham driving it home. A goal then after just 2 minutes play. Again, it's broken up by the men in the back line there. Brian Quinn, supported by Anthony Daly. Down into the corner towards Niall Gilligan. Well, what a start that is for Clare. There was some holding back there. It's going to be a free out for Waterford. Well, that is the dream start for the favourites going into this. And quite a body blow to Waterford. Well, would you think that that free by McMahon might well have just sailed over the crossbar to cause just minimal damage. So it's going to be Tom Feeney hitting into the wind towards Tony Brown, beaten for it. Brown is starting out here against Colin Lynch, up towards Paul Flynn. A real buzz of anticipation, runs away from Paul Flynn, has support, Peter Queally towards Billy O'Sullivan, against Brian Quinn once again. Quinn, the Clare man, from Tulla, does well. Huge clearance down towards Markham once again. This time it's picked up here by Fergal Hartley. Towards Dan Shanahan, catches it well. Good balance, nicely inside here towards Anthony Kerwin. And Brian Lowen going back. Strong, forceful full-back play by Lowen, as you'd anticipate. Paul Flynn there. Frank Lowen was being held off. It's going to be a free downfield. And Davy Fitzgerald is racing out of the goal to take this one. Davy was in association with the Clare minor team, who were beaten before this in the minor match by Cork. And I was down in the dressing room area when the teams are coming in, and forget about all this backdoor stuff, because Clare were absolutely despondent, Cork absolutely overjoyed. Everybody wants to win the Munster Championship. Davy Fitzgerald, a big one inside. Gilligan's in there, taps there as well. PG O'Connell was pulling on it. Clare survived this time, or Waterford survived and managed to get that ball out. And it is Sean Cullinan who was fouled. Sean from Passage. The family steeped in hurling lore. His mother before him was a Camogie star in the Kilkenny colours. Won All-Ireland medals in 1960 and I think 1959 as well. Here's Brendan Landers. Silenced many of his critics in his last performance. Miss-hit that one. Not helped by the severity of the breeze. Brown next. Good ball inside towards Paul Flynn. Gets there with Kerwin there as well. Dan Shanahan has it, and Shanahan's put it over the bar. Dan Shanahan getting Waterford's first point. The fans delighted to have somebody to cheer about after the body blow of the concession of the goal so early on. This was where the full forward Kerwin was showing there along with Paul Flynn. Back to Dan Shanahan, and that went sailing between the posts. Peter Queally's over there chasing. Difficult to dispossess Jamesy O'Connor. To PJ O'Connell. Well blocked. O'Connell again works so hard up front. That will be a sideline ball for Waterford. Two sides for so many years in the doldrums in Munster hurling, and today their big day has come. And the famous Kerry writer Con Houlihan always goes to the big matches. Beautifully cut in. Delightfully up that time by Brian Green. Now Tony Brown. An angled one across towards his midfield partner Peter Queally. Queally looking for a second point of his left-hand side. Daly scooping that one away from the attentions of Big Dan Shanahan. Now it's Frank Lowen. For many, many years, of course, it was Michael O'Halloran who wore the number 2. Rather unlucky to be out of the Clare side at this stage. Here's Colin Lynch. Real big discovery from last season. Hand passing that one ahead. David Ford hitting it, but he's hit it away to the right. And that is a first wide for Clare. Should be quite a duel, that one there, between David Ford and Stephen Frampton, who's gone across to pick him up. Brian Green playing on the far side there is on Jamesy O'Connor. Liam Doyle lets it run beyond him. Colin Lynch coming back for it, eluding Tony Brown. Down there into the corner towards Gilligan. This is Fergal Hartley for Waterford. And the Deschamins getting into trouble. Eamon Taff causing some consternation back there. Cullinan having to come across, can't take it up. First touch wasn't good. This is O'Connell. Back across towards Jamesy O'Connor. Markham's there as well. It's Alan Markham coming onto this one. Brian Green gets in with a wonderful block. Out it comes to Jamesy O'Connor. The tireless Jamesy steadying himself and firing it over the bar. First point for Jamesy O'Connor. And they'll be very, very happy indeed, the Clare fans. This was Brian Green coming onto this one to deny Alan Markham. And Jamesy O'Connor there in the follow-up, making it 1-1 to a point. So in the 9th minute now of this first half, that's Ken McGrath knocking it ahead there. And again, coming and looking for everything is Anthony Kerwin against Brian Lohan. Didn't manage to hit the target, however, after all the hard work, and that's 2 wides now by Waterford. But he's looked a useful target man since being switched from the half-back line up to full forward. Davy Fitzgerald's puck out. Plenty of length in towards David Ford. Brian Flannery, the ex-Tipperary player. Won an All-Ireland Under-21 medal here in his colours of Tipperary. Now playing for Waterford, watching as that ball from PG O'Connell has gone to the right. Gerald McCarthy there on the right-hand side, and alongside him is Greg Fives, one of the backroom team, along with John Galvin, of course, and Shane Ahern. But Shane Ahern is there just behind the goal. You can just see him, assistant coach. That's batted down by Ollie Baker. Everything a bit tight and tense early on in this match. Well, Brian Green made a very good connection with his last sideline cut. Son of Jim. Not such a good one that time. Daly taking it. And in one sweeping movement, turning it back down towards Alan Markham. Markham back in there to chase against Flannery. Good control by Markham, a young player, only 19 years of age. Coming in once again. Looking for some support, not getting it. It was Frampton who was back there initially. Out as well by Tom Feeney. Out into the centre to Fergal Hartley. Waterford will take heart. Dan Shanahan. Wrestled back. Getting himself the free. Held back that time as he was coming out by Ollie Baker. And a switch in the Waterford forward line. Dave Bennett, number 12, has now gone to full forward, and Anthony Kerwin has come out towards the left half forward position. Nicely taken down there by Anthony Daly. Across towards PG O'Connell. Ooh, a wild pull. A broken stick there by Fergal Hartley. Getting a replacement stick straight away. Well, Gerlach Nahan there and Tony Considine will be very pleased with the start that their side have made. That goal by Alan Markham after just about 2 minutes play. Number 15 coming into the end of it. But they're hoping now to build on that. Dan Shanahan tapping it back nicely to Ken McGrath. And that one has gone away to the left. And the conditions are making good hurling very, very difficult this afternoon. 3 wides now by Ken McGrath's team, whose dad, Pat, of course, was a great success in the Waterford Intercounty colours of yesteryear. Davy Fitzgerald should be driving them the proverbial mile in the first half, putting pressure there on Fergal Hartley. Here's David Ford, challenged by Stephen Frampton. Frampton's lost the stick. Taff is there. Markham playing it back in. Brian Flannery. Standard all a bit ragged in the opening minutes of this game. Clare getting themselves out of trouble again with Sean Cullinan and Fergal Hartley combining. Liam Doyle getting away from his marker. Tony Brown, and another player coming in was Brian Green. First touch there by Tom Feeney, not of the highest order. Brian Green much better shooting that time. Crisp delivery. Sean McMahon is under it for Clare. Drop there by Tom Feeney, operating on the left-hand side as Flannery has switched across. That's Stephen Frampton, blocked down. A lot of blocking in this match. Brian Green, Frampton again. That time, Eamon Tapp seemed to be dragging down his man. Here's Sean Cullinan, who started prominently, but having difficulty getting any kind of length into the puck. That's going to be a free to Waterford. Dave Bennett, the player who was falling on the ground. This, the block just moments ago there. Very well affected by Niall Gilligan against Stephen Frampton. So it's going to be Tony Brown from Mount Sion in Waterford to take this free. Right in the centre of the field. Wind against him. Lobbed in there towards McGrath. Back it comes down. Brian Lohan coming in. Ken McGrath was there as well. I know Gerald McCarthy has a great deal of time for young Ken McGrath. So little to choose between the teams, and Clare not really building steadily upon the dream start that they made. That time they tried to engineer something with David Ford being fouled. Ford has followed Frampton across and gone into left half forward. Niall Gilligan looking for the chances. Jamesy hitting it, and that's gone over the bar. Jamesy O'Connor's second point. The first from play, that from a free. And so Clare stretched their lead, as they'll be indeed hoping to do, in the first 35 minutes. And it's 1-2 to a point. Well, Clare, or rather Waterford's forward line, continues to rotate and change around. They now have just two men in the inside forward line. Paul Flynn is one of them. Billy O'Sullivan's there as well. Maybe it's a sensible tactic thing against the breeze to allow one of their corner forwards go out into the half-forward line to try and forage a bit more. Ball still in play. Taken there by Dave Bennett towards Paul Flynn. Onto his right-hand side. Partially blocked. Billy O'Sullivan's in after it in case it runs loose. It doesn't. David Fitzgerald with the clearance towards Ollie Baker at midfield. David Ford coming to pick this one up. And that was too many steps. Referee indicating that 4 steps is as many as you're allowed to take in hurling. That was a fabulous catch. Good leap in the air by Tony Brown. So Paul Flynn has come out to hit this one. Paul just playing in his 8th ever championship match. In the previous 7 he scored 5 goals and 37 points. This the man who got 10 points against Tipperary. 5 of those from frees. And this is first chance of the afternoon. Low enough trajectory, but he's put it to the left. Greatly disappointed. Paul, who's a 25-year-old bank official. Well, as somebody said to me not all that long ago, JBM I think it was, he's worth the admission fee alone just to come in and see him play. That's run back in there to Fergal Hartley. Towards Dan Shanahan. Resourceful man. Good at carrying it forward, but Baker in there with a lovely hook. Shanahan made very little headway. And that's Solly Baker back there, almost saying out of my way. Liam Doyle with the clearance. Picking out PG O'Connell with great accuracy. Now, has he got the accuracy? He certainly has. PG O'Connell with his first point. Well, he's a player that will always contribute something. He works so hard up front, trying to tie down defenders and make it difficult for them to make clearances, and he's made it 1-3 to a point. And all of that coming from Ollie Baker's hard work and a great pass to O'Connell. Down on the sideline with some news, we've got Kieran Mullooly
The positional changes are continuing in the Clare half forward line every 2 minutes. James O'Connor switches wings, PJ O'Connell goes out to his wing, and David Ford all of a sudden goes on the 40.
Well, they did that against Cork as well to try and bamboozle them. It worked on that occasion as Gilligan hits it, but Gilligan has hit it to the right. And now that's 3 wides for Clare, and for Waterford it's 5 so far. And as you can see, a game that's only managed a goal and 4 points to date, and that after nearly 18 minutes. The fans of both teams now trying to get behind their side, in particular Waterford, who will feel if they can keep it tight all the way to half-time, and if Clare continue to miss chances, then they'll have a right good chance with the breeze at their backs for the second 35 minutes. But that's a long way away. Dan Shanahan up into the corner, but there's nobody there because they have withdrawn one of their corner forwards, Paul Flynn, in to get a little block on it. Good work by him, good work by Brian Quinn as well. Here's Anthony Daly, bottled up in there. Anthony Kerwin making headway. It's the Waterford full forward, Kerwin. Good shoulder there by Brian Lunn, but the referee says it wasn't shoulder to shoulder as it needed to be. And the booing is from the Clare followers, and it's going to be a free in. Well, of course, the side-to-side charge they talk about in rules, we all call it a shoulder, but it has to be affected shoulder on shoulder. Here's Paul Flynn, having missed one from some distance. From the 20-metre mark, he fires this one over the bar. And Waterford have another score. And now it's 1-3 to 2 points in what is proving a very low-scoring match. This is the debatable point again. Now, shoulder to shoulder it needs to be, and as you can see, there was a bit of impact with the chest as well. Here's PJ O'Connell. High challenge that time by Fergal Hartley with the stick. Referee giving the free in to Clare, and that's on the 45-metre line. Well, Clare will be hoping now to take each and every one of the chances that present themselves for the remaining 15 and a half minutes of the half. And that's low inside towards Gilligan. Tapp's there as well, and Eamon Tapp has put it over the bar. That's the first score for Eamon Tapp. Eamon Tapp, who did a really good job when he finally got to start in that semi-final against Cork. Finished with 3 points that day. They wait in the middle of the field. The fans, I still probably think, waiting for the fireworks to happen here. It's a real cat and mouse game. Tony Brown lobbing it inside there towards the 2 men inside forward line. Here goes Flynn! Paul Flynn on the ground, looking to try and strike it. Stop on the goalkeeper. A follow-up by Kerwin, neatly taken back by Sean McMahon. And in the end, it's cleared out there by Anthony Daly. Well, that was a wonderful save by David Fitzgerald. Waterford had a really good goal chance. Back in the half-back line, they battle to try and get it away. Here comes Ollie Baker. A tight angle for Ollie, and he floats it over the bar. There might well be the difference at the end of this match. It might have been a Waterford goal. It ends up being a Clare point, all in the 1.5 minute. This was when Flynn was going away here. Just watch McMahon coming across here, and that was a definite foul. Nothing came of it, however. Here's Tony Brown. This time it is a free to Waterford. So once again, Brown to strike this one. They wait inside. Ken McGrath waiting. Lobbed in there. Brian Lowen sees that one drop down. Kerwin was there, and coming across, the least experienced member of the backline, Brian Quinn, playing in his third championship match, out to Liam Doyle. 2 against 1. Hartley, one of the 2 for Waterford, taking possession. Up towards Ken McGrath. Steadying himself, and that has gone to the left. On a better afternoon, that might well have sailed between the posts for Ken McGrath. but the wind continues to howl here. A gusting breeze blowing right down the field behind David Fitzgerald. And whatever about the foul by McMahon, that was a very good stop on the line by Fitzgerald. Here's Jamesy O'Connor beating Brian Green. Cullinan comes out, bats it away there towards Stephen Frampton. Quick little adjustment of positioning, took too many steps but gets away with it. Unable to get that ball cleanly away, however. Niall Gilligan firing it across towards Jamesy O'Connor. Beautiful speed and control by Jamesy O'Connor. Satisfied with the point. A third point by Jamesy. Wonderful work again by the hard-working Clare forwards. How often in the past we've paid tribute to their backline, but the forwards work just as hard, and they've made it 1-6 to 2 points. That was great work by Niall Gilligan. Should have been away by Stephen Frampton initially, but wasn't. Brendan Landers. Peter Queally drops it down. Now playing his club hurling in Cork with Sarsfield's, Teddy McCarthy's club. Up to Tony Brown, his midfield partner. Early ball inside towards Kerwin. Anthony Kerwin still battling in there with Lowen. This is Billy O'Sullivan, the most experienced member, but Billy has put it to the left. Looks at the referee, didn't believe it. 7 wides now by Waterford, playing against the stiff breeze. Well, if Clare can create just as many chances in the second half, Waterford won't go in all that terribly confident themselves, because you'd fancy the Clare forwards to be a bit more accurate. Fergal Hartley fouled. P.G. O'Connell, quick word by the referee. Both sides have had identical scoring chances so far, 11 scoring chances. Gerald McCarthy is having words with the linesman Pat O'Connor. And there's Gerald pacing up and down. Gerlach Nan was there also. As much drama off the field as on the field. Here's Tony Brown. Ollie Baker after him. Towards Peter Queally. Quick nip inside the cover of the Clare defence. That's a poor final ball towards Dave Bennett and gives a chance to Liam Doyle to get it away. Tony Brown seems to be pushed into the back by P.G. O'Connell. The referee says it was a fair shoulder. Didn't appear to be. Here's Ollie Baker. Nicely forward towards David Ford. Juggling it onto his stick. And still Ford, aware that he couldn't capture a third time there, looking for something, getting nothing. And Brendan Landers makes the clearance for Waterford into the middle of the field. Dave Bennett trying to take it around Liam Doyle. There's a trip there. Ken McGrath goes down. Seemed to tangle with Sean McMahon. Bennett playing that ball inside towards Kerwin. Trying to set something up here for Billy O'Sullivan. The shot saved by David Fitzgerald. Well, he really had a good chance to put that one over the bar. O'Sullivan failed to take it. Fergal Hartley put under pressure. A lot of pressure on the Clare backline. This is Alan Markham. Blocked down. Tom Feeney. Referee says ball was picked up off the ground and that's going to be a free down. Well, Alan Markham was in the thick of that. He's only 19 years of age. Played for the minors for 2 years. This was that attempted shoulder by P.G. O'Connell, but it was into the back of Tony Brown. Here's the free for Waterford. 9 minutes to go to half-time. Bennett, an angled ball inside. The Clare backline going back. Kerwin's there. Again, it's that tidy left corner back. Brian Quinn. Out it comes towards Peter Queally, and he's happy with the sideline cut. Well, the rain has eased. Breeze as strong as ever, but the sun making an attempt to come through here. Thick cloud overhead. Queally cutting it in. Towards Dave Bennett. Breaks down here towards Sean McMahon. Wonderful centre half back, thundering out. Down towards Tapp. And Sean Cullinan happy to see that one out over the sideline. Well, Waterford with just 2 points in the first half. Many chances created up at Anthony Kerwin's end. Cullinan cutting. Beautiful ball up. 2 Clare men there waiting for it, and the third man coming in. That was Sean McMahon. Colin Lynch. Quiet enough so far. Across there beautifully to Alan Markham. Looking for another score. but not the kind of deadly finishing that the Clare management would have been expecting. A word of encouragement from Jamesy O'Connor. 4 wides for Clare. As we heard earlier, they had about 11 scoring chances at that stage, up around the 12 at this point. Landers coming outside the small rectangle, which he shouldn't strictly do. Jamesy O'Connor inside towards Niall Gilligan. Player of great pace. Quick look up at the post, and that's a fine shot by Gilligan. He made one earlier on for Jamesy O'Connor, now he's got one himself, and Ger will be a bit happier because they are certainly taking most of their chances, or at least a high proportion of them. 1-7 to 2 points. Landers pucking it out. This time Dan Shanahan. The pass is not reaching their targets usually. Here's Paul Flynn. Flynn challenged by 2 players. Had a goal chance earlier on. This is an important chance, and it's stopped again, but it's lost in by Anthony Kerwin. Are gone, and Waterford have got a goal. The Waterford flags flying high here, proudly so, and Paul Flynn leading the rest of the Clare defence a merry dance. It was a great stop by David Fitzgerald, but in the follow-up Kerwin got there and made it 1-7 to 1-2. Now surely both sides will pick up after that. Clare stung. Surely Waterford would be greatly heartened. Here's Liam Doyle. Fresh air puck by Doyle. Bennett was alongside him. Not such a good connection initially by Dan Shanahan, away by Daly. The run across here, Alan Markham there against Brian Flannery. Little reaction there by the Clare number 15 because he did receive an injury. Well, Gerald McCarthy was saying during the week that there were going to be many signposts for Waterford during this year and maybe last year and next year as well. Now Gerald Loughnane must be a little bit shaken by that. I think Gerald McCarthy's point was that everything was a step forward, getting to the league final, now getting to the Munster final. Here's Tony Brown, inside towards Anthony Kerwin, and again it's David Fitzgerald. It was only when he was lying on the ground eventually that David Fitzgerald was actually beaten. Here comes Jamesy O'Connor. Brian Green races after him. It's Jamesy O'Connor showing great pace, shortening the grip on the stick, and he turns it into another score. A 4th point for Jamesy. Arguably the greatest forward that Clare have produced during this golden era, 1-8 to 1-2. Brian Green was chasing after him, but you can see how much pace he has off the blocks. What an athlete and what a hurler. Just about 4 minutes to the break. Dave Bennett challenged by Brian Quinn. Again in towards the goalkeeper. Not for the first time the ball has dropped short into the arms of David Fitzgerald, and straight away, without even having a puck out, he's able to turn it into a chance at the other end. It's broken up by Fergal Hartley. Still the great-hearted Hartley. Ollie Baker chasing after him, stopped by Colin Lynch. In comes Billy O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan had made his debut against Clare in 1988. And that was a tight one as well. Peter Queally sending it across there. That's Liam Doyle. Down towards David Ford. Terribly poor marking. Fergal Hartley getting back into position. But here comes Ford. And that's another chance availed of by Clare. David Ford's first point. Every one of the 6 forwards has now scored for Clare. Always a very encouraging sign. But the marking was so slack. Sideline ball to Clare. O'Sullivan moving back, goal side. Here comes Liam Doyle. Not such a good connection. Past Billy O'Sullivan, however. That's PJ O'Connell. Down it goes towards Alan Markham. Good defending. That's Cullinan. Looking the sharpest of the Clare full back line so far, but Niall Gilligan getting it back. And he's driven it away to the right. 5 wides for Clare. Some of their play has been uncharacteristic, but they've scored a goal and 9 points playing with the breeze. They lead by 7. And you wondered before this match what kind of a breeze, or kind of a lead did the team playing with the breeze require at half-time to be comfortable heading into the second half. Will Waterford at the end of all of this question whether or not they should have played with that wind at their backs for the first half? All academic now as Taff hits this one in and puts it over the bar. That's the second frame in Taff. Got out ahead of his man, and I bet he's a Waterford fan. Doesn't look too pleased anyway, although he's in the Clare section. And it's 110 to 1-2. Ken McGrath comes for this one with Sean McMahon. It reaches Tony Brown. Skillful player. Nicely caught again by Brian Quinn, having a stormer at left corner back. Towards Niall Gilligan, breaks it, tapped away by Tom Feeney. Up it comes to the team captain, Stephen Frampton. Billy O'Sullivan racing after this one with Liam Doyle. Doyle wins it, beyond Tony Brown. Taken up here by PG O'Connell, justifying his inclusion. Nicely inside towards Niall Gilligan. The leggy corner forward. Fergal Hartley. Hand passing this one as far as Peter Queally. Going by Ollie Baker, the 2 guards playing on one another in the middle of the field. Queally getting it back. Towards Billy O'Sullivan, waited for it to come. Has support. This is lobbed in towards Shanahan. Batted out there by Daly. Frank Lowen sweeping it out. He's disappointed that it went out over the sideline. So inside the final 15 seconds or thereabouts of the first half, there will hardly be much time added on by referee Willie Barrett. Brian Green to hit this. 8 points the margin at half-time. Is that sufficient for the Munster champions Clare, who faced the breeze? They got a dream start, a goal in the first couple of minutes, but Anthony Kirwan came back with a goal after 29 for Waterford to give them some hope. And so the sides going in at half-time here in Semple Stadium, where the fare at times has been below what you expect, but that on a very breezy day. And so the scoreline here reads Clare, the champions, 110, Waterford 1-2. And so you wonder whether that kind of margin is going to be good enough, because you'd expect Clare to create plenty of chances themselves, even into the breeze. And so let's go down now to Shane Ahern talking with Kieran Mullooly.
Shane Ahern, the Waterford coach, you have some problems out there.
We have a few problems. We're playing against a very strong wind there in the first half. We've created chances, but we didn't take them. Chances like that will have to be taken in the second half. As well as that, we're a bit loose around the half-back line sometimes. We're winning a lot of ball in centre field, we're not making enough use of it. We've made the chances and we're not taking enough of them. We'll take them in the second half.
It also looks like some of the refereeing decisions have not pleased you.
They haven't pleased me. The first minute Dan Shanahan got his jersey nearly pulled off him up there, and there's nothing about it. And then he gets it free over here, which they get the goal off him. Some of them are a bit hairy, all right, but he might balance it up in the second half. Maybe we're due a few now.
Shane Ahern, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, well, there's a fair old lead there for Waterford to try and peg back, but Tomás Mulcahy was just reminding me what happened last year between Galway and Kilkenny in the championship. We'll be talking about what we've seen in that first half after this commercial break.
Standard Life. Enjoy a better standard of living.
Well-paid executives were seen to be feathering their own nest. I think that did come as a shock, particularly the whole question of how close politics and business seems to have been.
In a way, it's horrific to have to go to somebody who has gone through something traumatic as a complete stranger and say, well, will you tell me the story? People's dignity and courage just bowls me over.
My advice to anybody is enjoy every minute you can, play as long as you can, because nothing substitutes for playing the game. Absolutely nothing. This comes closest.
That youth from Tiernan Oak now at full back and defending. Has never been moved along high ball towards his full forward. It will surely have snowed. He has now reached the left corner. What a brilliant game this player has had. Star of the day reaches midfield, running like an Olympic sprinter. He dives. He's blocked it. A super save. This man is certainly reaching for the stars.
Into the sunshine. It's Miller time. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
The Ennis Supply Company stocks an extensive range of bathroom suites and shower units. With over a quarter of a century's experience, the Ennis Supply is the best place to buy.
Bovaclox DC Extra, the long-acting dry cow therapy from Norbrook, gives you up to 70 days protection. Bovaclox DC Extra, powerful for reducing cell counts.
What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours. What a difference a day makes.
Don't just paint it, crown it.
Welcome back again. So Clare lead Waterford 110 to 1-2. Let me remind you, by the way, that in our nighttime programme tonight, we will not just have a review of today's match, we'll also have the draw for the All-Ireland hurling quarter-finals, because the teams that go to the semi-finals and the quarter-finals should be known after today's match. Tomás Mulcahy, it looks like Clare are going to be in that semi-final.
Yes, having said that, Waterford did have some chances in the first half to get more than 1-2 on the scoreboard, but didn't take those chances. And in most of the finals, particularly against Clare, you've got to take your chances. They had chances to get a few points. They seemed to be very, very nervous early on. They lost a lot of possession, and it contributed to Clare scoring at the other end. And they'll be disappointed to go in at half-time 8 points down, but you've got to hand it to Clare. They're moving the ball very, very quickly. They're taking some excellent scores. I mean, they got 1-10 and they got 1-9 from play, you know, so they got a tonic of a starting with a goal at the start of the game.
It's very difficult, Pete, even when Waterford have the breeze in the second half, to see them clipping over those kind of scores the way Clare have been doing.
It is very difficult because their forward line aren't playing really that well. Dan Shanahan has 3 or 4 wides, Billy O'Sullivan isn't really in the game, and we haven't seen very much of McGrath either. Paul Flynn is really the only one that's popping up every now and again, but they will get a lot more possession in the second half, but their half-back line have to shift the ball earlier down and keep it low, because it's pointless driving balls wide, and Clare are having a puck out back down again on top of their defence.
You make all the plans, Tomás, for a big day like this, send the team out, hopefully in the right frame of mind. What happens in the first minute of the game? The ball's in the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's we've been saying that at the start of the game, that that's something that Waterford didn't want to happen, was to concede a soft score, concede a goal, and I think this one caught us all by surprise. It's a free by Shiny McMahon, and it comes off the upright, and there you have Alan Markham to pick it up, and it's a tremendous score. That's a tonic start for Clare. It's a big disappointment for Waterford, and I'm sure that set them back a small little bit, because you don't want to concede goals, particularly when you're defending against a breeze like that, and it was a terrific start for Clare, and well finished by Alan Markham.
Yeah, it was certainly the right kind of start from Clare's point of view. We saw time and time again, Pete, in that first half, Waterford in possession, giving it away or letting it slip away from them, and then a score coming out of from Clare. And then one example of this now, for example, Paul Flynn had a great goal chance. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, Waterford squandered an awful lot of possession, and ironically, Clare got points out of it. And if they can stop that in the second half, we see Paul Flynn here now. He's straight through. Tony McMahon can feel lucky that his name wasn't taken at least, but Flynn still has a good opportunity to get a strike on it. Hurley is throwing, but it's squandered there again. Now that ball was clear down the field, and Ollie Baker, I think it is, that puts it over the bar eventually. Now they've been guilty of giving away good possession, not being under that much pressure, giving away possession, and Clare have nipped in and tapped it over the bar. That has happened especially to their half-back line, who are trying to find one another with short passes. Here we see Baker now.
The way that Baker takes the point, I mean, it's as simple as that.
As simple as that, and you take that, that's a 2-point swing at least. If they got the free and put it over the bar, that's their point, and Baker wouldn't have scored his. So it would really be only 6 points of a difference. So they'll have to cut that out, especially in the second half. Things haven't really gone that well for Waterford now in the first half. They've had more wides playing against the breeze than Clare, and they'll have to really button down now again and take these opportunities, because they are going to get them. Now, I wouldn't really be afraid of an 8-point lead with a wind like that, but it's no good having the breeze unless your forwards are able to score.
Well, they did get one break in that first half, Tomas, which was the goal they got, and they were actually lucky here, because it deserved a goal, and it looked like it was going to slip away as well.
Yeah, and the man that got it himself has looked very lively when he has got into possession, and when he takes it on here, as it comes to him, we see that it's a great run by himself into the centre, and he has definitely got the eye for goal, and it's a tremendous run, and you can see players coming across, and they like to kick it, but it's a great save by Davy Fitzgerald, but Kerwin's on hand, Anthony Kerwin's on hand to actually put it into the back of the net. It was a great run by Paul Flynn, and we need to see a lot more of him in the second half. I would like to see him maybe come out the field a bit more, because he is an excellent player. He needs to be involved in the game all the time.
So if Waterford are going to get a grip on this then, how exactly are they going to do it?
I think when you're playing with the breeze, there's a tendency that you can crowd in the second half, with puckouts coming down, raining down on top of the half-back line, and we see the Clare half-back line can really dominate under this type of pressure. Is they're going to have to open it up, keep it open, keep it wide, keep open spaces. We've seen Clare doing this in the first half. They were switching half forwards, moving left and right, and the Waterford backs really didn't know what to do with them, and they got some excellent scores out of it. I think if Waterford start bunching it now again, it's going to suit the Clare half-back line and the Clare full-back line. They've shown in the past, in a number of matches, that they've been very, very dominant, and they are an excellent team in their back division. So it's going to be up to Waterford to try and break them down by keeping it open.
And this is something, obviously, that Gerald McCarthy will be trying to drill into them now in the dressing room.
Oh, I would think so. I mean, they're going to be downhearted, 8 points down, but I mean, we've seen last year, Kilkenny 10 points down against Galway, came back with a very, very strong breeze in the second half. Whether they have somebody of the calibre of DJ Carey to pull them back and get the scores from the second half remains to be seen. They haven't shown that in the first half, which is a worrying thing.
Yeah, a worry, Pete, is the fact that in the league final, Waterford did this against Cork. Plenty of possession, and they were belting it left and right of the post for better days and not getting the scores that actually would have won them the match, because they had enough of that possession.
They will, and they will get a lot of possession in the second half, but they have to play the game in Clare's defence. And their half-back line, full-back line, just let the ball go. Don't be trying to find anybody with hand passes. Let it go on the ground anyway, get it down there. But they have to convert, and they have been guilty of that in the past. Not getting opportunities, not taking them. Paul Flynn is playing well, as I said, but more of the players will have to come into the game. They'll have to spread it out. The corner forwards will have to keep it wide and give themselves that bit of space, because it could get overcrowded, and Clare love it when it's crowded, and they'll slow everything down to a crawling pace in this half. When you see them taking frees and line balls and puck outs, it's going to be so slow, you'll be yawning.
Of course, well, the teams are coming back out onto the pitch, as you can see behind me there, for the second half. Big test for Waterford. Number 21 jersey, Ger Canning is going to tell us exactly if there are changes and what changes there are on the two teams indeed.
Yeah, well, we've just got one team out at this stage, Michael, and that is Micheál White from the Mount Sion Club, coming in for his third championship match. There was a degree of discussion, I know, in Waterford before this match that perhaps he should have been included. He's in place of Dave Bennett. Dave, who started at left half forward from Lismore. He's made way, and so Micheál White, who has a decent enough scoring track record in the Waterford colours, he gets his chance at the start of the second half. Willie Barrett and his officials wait patiently for the Clare side to come back out for the second half. Waterford were here first, I can tell you today, having had a session this morning. And Clare, as usual, came in pretty late, around about 10 to 3. As Gerald McCarthy there, along with John Galvin. John, who played in those two Munster finals in 82 and 83. Shattering defeats for Waterford, and Clare come back out for the start of the second half. We're not anticipating any changes there. And a quick look around reveals that that's exactly the situation. Indeed, Sherlock Nan has some interesting things to say before the match here. He's talking about the sense of occasion that you always get at a Munster final, whereas the All-Ireland final is more business-like. And down in front of me here, one of the officials is trying to get the various selectors in from the sideline, because they have been parading up and down, and each side trying to gain a slight advantage. So Gerald's been going up and down, and Gerlock Nan's been going up and down, and the officials have been trying to keep them back. And it's made life difficult for our camera down just at ground level, trying to bring you the very best pictures, and of course for television coverage as well. Second half is underway, and the Munster champions have a handsome lead here. I would expect to be fairly bombarded by Waterford in the second half. What will be the Waterford, what will be the Clare reaction? Straight away it's in towards Anthony Kirwan. Micheál White is just to his right. It's 2 against 1. What a start! Kirwan has a second goal, and Waterford have the best possible start to the second half. Only a minute gone, and it's 1-10 to 2-2. Well, they were saying that they weren't scoring any goals. Didn't get goals in the last couple of matches, and now they've got 2. But more importantly, one of them has arrived right at the start of the half. Well, if that doesn't give them a major lift, we hardly know what will. PG O'Connell looking for a rapid response in towards Eamon Taff. Alan Markham's there as well. Markham, the goal scorer, after 2 minutes for Clare. Lovely pick up. The hand pass towards Eamon Taff. First touch let him down a little. Flannery was in quickly. Still Taff. Clare stung by that, wanting to get into a scoring situation. Waterford grouping, and the referee will throw that ball in, I'm sure. It'll be on the 20-metre line. And he'll want everybody back the requisite distance. Here's Ollie Baker. Tony Brown. Baker wondering what he was doing that time. It's a huge one downfield towards Flynn. Blocked down brilliantly there by Frank Lohan. Once again, it's Paul Flynn. Man who set off and made the first goal. Missed his stroke there. Blocked down by Brian Lohan. Here comes Anthony Daly, Clare team captain. Away towards Jamesy O'Connor, starting life for the second half at right half forward. Brian Green is chasing after him. But so far in this match, Jamesy has been winning those sprints. The shot by Jamesy, and it's a wonderful point. We've seen some fabulous scores in this match. And it's 1-11 to 2-2, Clare's first point of the second half. But this, the goal after just about a minute of the second half. Brian Lohan missed that time. In came Kirwan, right into the top corner. Clare have a player down injured. Play continues. Much concern there. Colin Flynn going in. They'll all be sure expressing their concern just to see exactly who has gone down. This is a match which is being seen everywhere and anywhere throughout Ireland today. Also some goal nurses in foreign parts like Elsie Fenford from English in Waterford, who's in the Sudan, and Noel Slattery from Cartine, who's in Angola, watching this challenge here. David Ford going in, down on his knees. Peter Queally was crashing in after him, and Ford is okay. So David Ford is okay. Line ball taken quickly, back to the goalkeeper from Brian Quinn to David Fitzgerald. Queally batting it down, helped forward there by Billy O'Sullivan. Had a quiet first half. Frank Lowen leaves it behind. Flynn trying to get it in, but it's Lowen once again. Up towards the man who's happily recovered. Markham towards Eamon Taff. Good turn by Taff. Trying to get away from Sean Cullinan. Next it was Flannery coming in, but not a fair side-to-side charge as it's defined. And so it's going to be a free in for Clare. Willie Barrett just noting the time. This was Eamon Taff setting off there past Sean Cullinan, and Flannery coming in, and it was a frontal charge really. Ford is still receiving some attention out of shot. Taff is okay. Clare have the free, and it'll be Jamesy O'Connor to take it. Looking for another one. 6 points now in all for Jamesy O'Connor. Out of that tally of 112. David Ford is still being helped over there by Gerlach Nan. Following a little collision a while ago. And he's making a switch. And Ford seems to be going up into the top corner. Meanwhile, Waterford also attending. Down it goes towards Ken McGrath. Picking it up at the second attempt. Beaten away there by Liam Doyle. Back towards Tony Brown. Always struggling to try and pick that ball up because of the closeness of the Clare challenges. Baker hurls that one forward, but there's nobody coming for it. There's Sean Cullinan. And he's okay, back on his feet once again. This is Micheál White, substitute, and he's put it over the bar. Micheál White getting his first point of this Munster final. So it's 112 to 2-3, 15 points to 9. It was Tony Brown here who was struggling to get that ball away, successfully managed to get it hand passed away in the end after he was struck. Colin Lynch in there battling with Ken McGrath. Brian Green there as well, and the impish Jamesy O'Connor. What a wonderful player he is. Up towards David Ford, who's now been repositioned at top of the right. Beaten by Tom Feeney. Feeney for Waterford. Fergal Hartley for the Daisha men. Down towards Anthony Kerwin. Kerwin causing problems today for Brian Lowen. And that's a great score. 2 goals and a point now for Anthony Kerwin. And the faithful fans of Waterford hurling believe they've still got a great chance, trying to eat into the Clare lead. But every time they come back with a score, Clare reply. That's been the nature of this second half. 112 to 2-4. 5 points between the teams. David Ford trying to nurse that one away from the attentions of the Waterford backs. Brian Flannery, lovely skill. Wonderful catch there by Anthony Daly. Firing it back in towards Eamon Taff. Markham's there as well, but so too is Sean Cullinan. Trusty full back, that was into the back there by Colin Lynch on Tony Brown. Free to Waterford. Well, Waterford have made this great start to the second half as Sean Cullinan continues to receive attention for what looks like cramp. Down in the area in front of us here, Clare are preparing to make a change, and Conor Clancy is about to come on for the injured David Ford. Clancy coming on to play in his 11th championship match. Will that mean a variation in the approach of Clare where forward work is concerned? perhaps they'll try and play that ball in high to Clancy. Cullinan has the thigh very heavily strapped, as you can see. And there's the new man in. So Conor Clancy in, and likewise Waterford about to make a change. Into their backline will come Mark O'Sullivan. Mark, who played in the league final, was a bit unlucky that day as Sean Cullinan is forced out of the match. That's a big loss. The experienced man who played at the Munster final in 1989 against Tip. Off he goes, replaced by Mark O'Sullivan. So changes aplenty. Meanwhile, it's Tony Brown, hoping to keep the trend going where Waterford scores are concerned. And again, a huge one, and it's dropped over the bar. Tony Brown's first point, bit by bit, in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. Waterford are edging closer to the Munster and All-Ireland champions. This time it was Tony Brown, and that's a glorious strike and a wonderful score. Davy Fitzgerald pucking it out, 112, 15 points to 2-5, which is 11. Dan Shanahan. From this attack, they'll be hoping to get within 3 points. It's broken up, however. Anthony Daly up towards PG O'Connell. That's won back splendidly there by Stephen Frampton. Dropping right into the Clare back line. Here's Paul Flynn. This spells danger. Down he goes, and the referee says tripped just outside the large rectangle. Oh, it really was a moment of danger there for the Clare backs. You just can't let this fellow loose. This was the Ballygunner himself, Paul Flynn, raiding in there. Frank Lohan was after it as well. His brother Brian, as always, not too far away from the action. So it's going to be a free in from the 20-metre line. Gerald McCarthy has done some wonderful work with this Waterford team, making sure his star corner forward is okay. Hitting into the goal at the town end here in Semple Stadium, behind which there are thousands upon thousands of Waterford fans. They haven't won the Munster Championship for 35 years. Paul Flynn steadies himself and drives it high up over the bar, and indeed out of the ground as well. A second point from a free scored by Paul Flynn. And now Waterford are within touching distance of Clare's lead. Only 3 points between the teams. A really good spirited second half. That time it's knocked ahead there into the Clare inside forward line. Just two of them there. Niall Gilligan trying to dispossess Mark O'Sullivan. Gilligan, a player who will always cause problems to backs. Players calling for it. Jamesy O'Connor. They'd like another point here just to keep the distance between the teams, but he can't supply it here. First wide of the second half and the 6th in all in this game for Clare. Oh, what a match we're having now. But remember, Waterford have the wind at their backs, and it's a very, very strong breeze. Landers puck out towards Shanahan. Runs on towards Ken McGrath. First touch not good. Picked up here by Billy O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan, who made his debut in '88. Here's Shanahan coming in again. In towards the side. Stopped initially. Partially blocked. And it's gone wide, but it's got to be a 65. The umpire had a doubt, but the referee had none. The work by Dan Shanahan then rewarded. The mentors going back towards the bench. Some of them, that is. As we said earlier, we do realise how the television coverage can be impaired somewhat by constant traffic of people moving up and down in front of the cameras. And I suppose it's all in the nature of the occasion. Tony Brown to hit this. Verse 65. Taking maximum care, dropping it into the left, however, and that was a really good chance. I suppose they're never easy, but he had a howling gale behind him. Every vantage point taken up here. The man behind the wire there, looking concerned. In midfield, it's Baker against Queally. Clare leading by 3 points. PJ O'Connell lets that one spill away. Dan Shanahan just running out of space. Clare get the sideline ball. Gerlach Nan out of picture, urging his side on. Gerald McCarthy doing likewise for Waterford. Baker to hit this. It's a great connection. In it goes, right in beyond Gilligan, beyond Taff as well. And Landers comes straight out between the two Claremen. Not a good pass out to James O'Connor. Blocked down in towards Gilligan again. There's another chance. Stopped by the goalkeeper. Finally the clearance comes out towards James O'Connor again. Wonderful excitement here in Thurles. It's in towards Colin Lynch. Lynch going forward with the stick. One of the Claremen, or the Waterford man has lost the stick, I think. And in the end, the chance is lost as well. Well, after all of that, Clare come away with nothing. This was a block here as Jamesy was coming in to hit that one, and the second one was by Gilligan, and a great stop by Brendan Landers. It was the bad hand pass, however, from Landers to Jamesy that set all of that trouble up. That's a wonderful catch. Here's Ken McGrath inside towards Dave Bennett. Oh, it's gone over the bar from Dan Shanahan, I should say. Dan Shanahan with his second point. It really is a wonderful occasion here now. Waterford fans who've had nothing but dreams and heartbreak in recent years, and now they're within 2 points of the Munster and All-Ireland champions. Whoever loses will go through to the quarter-finals, the draw to be made tonight. But what about this for skill and an absolutely tremendous catch there by Ken McGrath. Out into the centre, Liam Doyle has it. They've been in a crisis many times in the past. Ken McGrath again, getting it down towards Mihal White. Clare still leading. Brian Quinn had such a good first half. Anthony Daly supplying that ball in towards the forwards. That's stopped there by Tom Feeney, who's taken over at full back. Alan Markham protesting, but it's going to be Waterford's free. Every possible space taken up here in Semple Stadium. This wonderful hurling surface. Stephen Frampton, a huge one down towards Paul Flynn. Comes out again towards Dan Shanahan. That's another one for Dan Shanahan, and it's 2 in a row now. And his 3rd point in all. And Waterford fans now really have that self-belief that their side is finally going to triumph. It's still a tall order against wonderful champions, but the margin is now down to just the minimum, a point between them. Still plenty of time to go. Quealy bats it back. Sean McMahon facing towards his own goal. Liam Doyle, lovely ball to pick out. PJ O'Connell scored an absolutely brilliant point in the first half. Good play by Frampton. Ollie Baker next in. The diagonal pass across towards Niall Gilligan. He collides with Brian Green. Both players down injured. Well, it really is one of those occasions where the managers who've played their part firing up their charges, and the charges are not shirking the challenges. Everybody's going in as if dear life depends upon every 50-50 ball. This another block just moments ago here by Stephen Frampton. Off the stick there of PJ O'Connell. And little cameos like that and moments of wonderful individual skill make this such an occasion. So the team medical officers are called into action. The injury just moments ago here from another angle. And the Waterford team doctor is called in just as the Clare man. The team doctor is Dr. Tom Higgins from Dungarvan. Shay Fitzpatrick in there as well, attending to the Waterford men. Meanwhile, it's Corey Quinn looking after the injured Clare players with Colin Flynn. Both sets of supporters playing their full part. Niall Gilligan's okay. This man must be worrying. Yes, he's back on the flags again. It's that kind of day, that kind of tension. As James O'Connor hits it, puts it between the posts, and that might steady a nerve or two for Clare. 7 points for Jamesy out of a tally of 113. It's a very impressive individual tally once again. Brendan Landers, a huge puck out. Cross towards Ken McGrath. Clare win it back. Just about. Colin Lynch trying to make some headway. Stop, Billy O'Shea's there. Ken McGrath's there as well. Picked up in the end after all that uncertainty by Paul Flynn. Across towards Micheál White. White from Mount Sion. Taking Brian Quinn out of position. Back to Peter Queally. And that's gone to the left, but it's still in play. Back to retrieve it there. Liam Doyle. Not getting it away quickly enough. It's Brian Lohan now. Brian has discarded that red helmet. After it once again. Challenge there by Dan Shanahan. So much endeavour, and honest endeavour at that, being displayed by players from both teams all over the pitch. It's nothing more than you expect when the Munster title is at stake. Concern in the face of Gerald McCarthy, and that's Sean Cullinan there limping away. Had a very good match. Now forced out through injury. There are 15 minutes to go. Clare with a 2-point lead. Anthony Daly, having repositioned in no particular hurry, wanted to make sure of this one. Good cut up. But Queally gets out there, bravely taking it with a left hand. Inside towards Paul Flynn against Frank Lohan. This time it's Anthony Daly. What a captain he's proved over the years. Brian Quinn trying to get it out. Paul Flynn is in there. So too was Ken McGrath. Ollie Baker scooping it away from danger. This is Brian Green. Beyond Brian Lohan, but it's gone wide and doesn't cause any problems. That's the second wide of the second half by Waterford, but they really hit the wides in the first half with 7. So their tally now is 9. But you still get that feeling that this game can go either way. It was tight also when Clare played their semi-final match with Cork, and then they really asserted themselves in the last 10 to 15 minutes. But today they're playing against the breeze, and they're playing against the spirit and commitment and drive of Waterford. Clare get the line ball. Fergal Hartley moves back into position. Every man giving every last ounce of energy, straining every nerve. The crowd playing its full part. Baker cutting it in here again. Peter Queally going back, denying Alan Markham. Comes back towards PJ O'Connell. Nicely across, beautifully taken up there by Colin Lynch, but that's gone to the left. Doesn't score an awful lot, but he really is the man who works tirelessly in midfield in the interest of the Banner County. So the Waterford subs, the mentors, the county board officials as well, hoping, dreaming perhaps still. And the sun making a very welcome reappearance. Here's Ollie Baker. Options right and left. PJ O'Connell. Great block down by Frampton. He's lost the stick. Little more he could do. Queally's after it. So too is Ollie Baker. So many honest, rugged clashes here. That time the Clare player coming off second best. This, just moments ago here, is where there was a jersey pulled back. It was Ollie Baker. And Ollie coming out of that particular tie, just a little battered and bruised somewhat. Pat Fitzgerald there, the county secretary. But Ollie is such a strongly built fellow. It would take more than that, I think, to keep him out of it. It ends with handshakes, I can tell you. But moments ago here, PJ O'Connell, watch for Stephen Frampton. That is brilliant. It's taken by Daly, and once again he pops up to get a vital long-range free and to put it between the posts and make sure that everybody in Clare can say, what crisis? There's no crisis. Clare remain firmly in front. Anthony Daly's first point of the match. Well, it was about at this stage in the game against Cork that he also pointed a long-range free, and after that, Clare just took a firm grip. Brian Green has the sideline ball. Dan Shanahan waiting. Dan, who's got 3 points in this match so far. Green to hit it. Wind right behind him. Beyond Ollie Baker, but he goes back, has the time to get it away from Quilly. Take a good shoulder. Ollie having to hand pass it out to McMahon. A huge one way downfield towards Niall Gilligan. Over there as well as Alan Markham. Scooped away by Green. Back in to support him. There is the substitute Conor Clancy. And it's going to be Clare's ball. Just about 10 minutes remaining now. James O'Connor to hit this. Right in there, Tom Feeney trying to get it away for Waterford. Niall Gilligan still trying to pressurise there. The hand pass comes back towards O'Connell, another very good block. Back out it comes once more, Ollie Baker slipping. Getting it beyond Frampton. A good ball to Clancy! And that's a great move. Finished off in spectacular fashion by Conor Clancy. And once again, Clare blow aside Waterford and expand their lead even more. It's Clare who've come back in the last 5 or 6 minutes. 115, 18 points to 2-8, which is 14. Tony Brown. Again, they try to get back within striking distance. They get another chance here. Shanahan half hitting that one. Coming away from the cornerback position there. That's nicely away by Frank Lohan. Only as far as Tony Brown, however. They need this one to be on target, but it's not. Disappointment this Tony Brown's lot. Is still making a point there. And the Waterford mentor down at the other end, who is Shane Ahern, is trying to bring the referee's attention to perhaps that should have been a point. The umpire has a view on it. It's a point. Tony Brown gets it. Shane Ahern went in there to play advocate. Clearly one of the umpires had a doubt. The other man had waved it wide. But the man on the right-hand side, as we look across here, had no doubt, nor had the referee. It went off the upright. And Gerald McCarthy has had his name taken by the referee behind the goal. So Tony Brown, the scorer of 2 points. And the amended scoreline now shows there's just 3 between them. 8 minutes remaining. Davy Fitzgerald pucking out. Hoping that Clare at the end of this afternoon will have won a 3rd Munster title in 4 years. It's still O'Connell. Frampton still chasing. Support coming in. And the figure of Billy O'Sullivan. That's Tom Feeney, who has been held back. Free out to Waterford. Number 17 there, of course, is the man who came in during the second half. Mark O'Sullivan playing at corner back. Fergie Toohey about to be just introduced in the next couple of moments. Landers sweeping this one downfield, batted out. That's Doyle. Such an assured performer down the years. PG O'Connell, they'll say his best years are behind him, but he's given a fighting performance this afternoon and challenged for everything, and that'll probably be a throw ball. And Fergie Toohey has just been introduced into the Clare attack. And I wonder, will it be Eamon Taff who'll make way? It's looking like that. Throw has been taken, Taff's gone. Toohey's in. Straight away into the thick of the action here, the number 23 against Fergal Hartley. Both sides looking for a late boost. But Waterford have given a good account of themselves during the second half. So Taff is off and Fergie Toohey One of the heroes of last year's Munster win against Tipperary. Part of the action. That's beautifully in. This is a lovely turn again by a very sweet hurler. Paul Flynn knocking it in, but straight into the goalkeeper's grasp. Just held his footing sufficiently to make the clearance, and that'll be a sideline ball. Further pressure on the Clare backs. Tony Brown, that's beautifully in, and that's another one, and it's gone over the bar. 3 points now for Tony Brown, and the Waterford fans continue to have faith and belief in their team. Is there sufficient time remaining? 5 minutes left, 2 between them. Now what a third Waterford goal would do. That's what they'll be thinking. But they'll be happy, I'm sure, just to withstand the next few minutes. Fergie Toohey, nicely inside for PJ O'Connell. This to stretch the lead once again to 3 points. When there's a doubt, Clare can always be depended upon to come back, to take the chances. And that latest one by PJ O'Connell. 116 to 210. Over the head that time of Dan Shanahan, picked up by Ollie Baker, working tirelessly around the midfield area. Tom Feeney's coming racing out for this. Needs to get it away quickly, failed to do so because of the pressure again from those Clare forwards. Defence for Clare seems to begin at number 15. Clancy is disappointed. It'll be Brian Green to hit it. Remember, 3 points between the teams as Sean Cullinan looks on from the sideline but can do no more. Injured. Green makes a good connection. Down towards Ken McGrath. Hasn't scored in this match so far. Pressurising the corner back. Kerwin's in next to try and challenge. Scorer of 2 goals in this match together with a point. Stalemate at the end of all of that, broken up because of the referee's intervention. It's going to be a free in on the 20-metre line. Paul Flynn has gone across to take it. Peter Queally waits, Billy O'Sullivan there as well. 210, of course, 16 points, 116, 19 points. Flynn fires it in, but he's fired it to the right at the worst possible time. Flynn has scored 2 points in this match, but they both came from frees. He was involved in setting up the goal for Kerwin as well. The fans would have wanted more, however. David Fitzgerald plucking it out with under 3 minutes to go. Down by Billy O'Sullivan. This is Ken McGrath. Micheál White's waiting across, the man in the red helmet. Quinn is beside him, and that's a free, and it's going to be a free in for Waterford. White is annoyed because there's no advantage. The referee has made the call. It's going to be a free in. No advantage coming from that. Sean Daly is also in with the action. He was the man who was full forward when Waterford won the under-21 title in 1992. So there he is. Gerald O'Loughlin is also about to be introduced for Clare. So a change has been made. Seems to be Billy O'Sullivan is coming off. Yes, Billy O'Sullivan is off, and here it is! Back of the net! Paul Flynn! The sides are level! Minutes into the second half. Whatever about the lack of advantage, It didn't seem to unsettle Paul Flynn, and the sides are level for the first time since the match started. This was the free again. They were all on the goal line. A conventional 20-metre free, and Flynn takes the responsibility and buries it. Niall Gilligan's gone off. The Sparrow is in for Clare. Now, is there a winner? What a tense occasion. As close a call as Ger Loughnane's side has ever had in the Munster Championship in recent years. Backed by the breeze. Waterford came back. Here's Brian Flannery trying to get that ball away. Tony Brown, what's a high challenge by PJ O'Connell, right to the face. It causes a minor disturbance, and the referee very quickly isolating PJ O'Connell, but he did lead with the stick. And there's no doubting what the fans want. Again, the referee making the note, taking the name, and he's off. Clare are down to 14 men as we head into injury time with the sides level, and this was the challenge again. Tony Brown, a very definite striking action, not harsh, no doubt about it. So now, how will Clare fare? Gerald McCarthy's on trying to make changes. Waterford will have the free. Still plenty of booing and jeering going on. Paul Flynn has come back to take the free. Now this is back into his own half-back line. We're in injury time. This may be the free to win the championship for Waterford. Remember 73 here. Then it was Limerick and Tip. This is much farther out. He's on his own 45-metre line. Really gripping drama. A goal and 2 points. A strong breeze backing him. What chance has he of getting it? It's high. Seems to be going to the right, and it's gone wide. Well, it was a high percentage risk. They knew it, but they went for it. It looks like it's going to end in a draw. But that's been said before. How much time will the referee add on? He's looking at his watch. It's 19 points to 19 in points. There's still a few seconds, Willie Barrett decides. Not anymore! It's all over. And the Munster hurling final has finished level. Ger Loughnane's side was 8 points ahead at half-time. But Gerald McCarthy's side battled, aided by the breeze. Clare created 27 chances and took 17. Waterford created 31 chances, 4 more than Clare, and took 13 scores. They live to fight another day. Nobody will be too disappointed with that. And you can be sure that there'll be another full house wherever it's played. And at full time here, it's Clare, 16 points. Waterford, 3 goals and 10, 19 points apiece. And Ger Loughnane is down talking with Kieran Mullooly.
Ger Loughnane, have you ever seen a game finish in quite such a dramatic form?
Well, what a game from start to finish today. The pace of the game, the crowd on both sides, the excitement that was there. Sure, Munster Championship hurling at its very, very best, and everybody delighted for Waterford that they've got another chance. I know we'd have liked they've held on there in the end, but Waterford deserved the draw at least, and I think the fairest result, if ever there was a fair result per game, this was it today. A tremendous game.
They might have won it, Ger. They had that last free, and you were shaking, I'm sure.
Definitely, we were really shaking there towards the end. They had us on the run for the last 20 minutes, you know. Their level of fitness, their level of skill, their movement off the ball and on the ball. They're a tremendous team. Waterford have proven today that they are an outstanding team, and what a day we're going to have here again whenever the replays.
But you're still Munster champions and you're still All-Ireland champions.
Well, just hanging on by our fingernails, but we're still out there. Still, and have another day to fight.
Ger Loughnane, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, a very frank Ger Loughnane, as you expect. Frank about his side's performance today and talking about the next day. What a day that should be. So presumably the quarter-final draw due for tonight will not now be able to take place because there has not been a loser here. Two sides who refuse to yield and refused to die. And let's go down and get the Waterford perspective. Dan Shanahan scored 3 points. He's with Kieran.
Dan Shanahan, what an incredible finish.
The great finish for Waterford. Came back in there, Paul Flynn stuck the goal. And from the great finish for Waterford.
You showed in the second half that you would come back. A couple of superb goals.
There's some great goals from Anthony Cowan and Paul Flynn there. Fabulous goals. Even the first half, Anthony Cowan got a great goal. We have the ability to come back. We knew going in at that stage, 8 points down, with a win like that, we're going to score.
And as you enjoy your drink, you must have thought at the end that you could have just snatched the victory.
We could have snatched it, we could have snatched at the end of it. Maybe two more chances, we could have snatched it.
Dan Shanahan, enjoy the rest of the drink. Congratulations.
Yes, nobody will object to having another day out, because it's the kind of form that could well do the team so much good, having another championship match under their belts before the All-Ireland series itself. Hope you enjoyed it. It's finished level.
Yes, Joe, we certainly did enjoy it. So Waterford know now, Pete Finnerty, they are good enough to be the Munster champions.
They do know, and it was a very exciting finish. It seemed to die halfway through the second half, but typical Paul Flynn, didn't seem to be in the game. Like DJ, stood over the ball, back of the net, game turns on its edge.
And Paul Flynn, Tomas, is the kind of player that when he stood up to that free in the end, I mean, he has the kind of mentality to say, I'd go for this. I mean, and it was a 50-50 chance, so...
Yeah, it's one of his strong points. He used a bit of confidence, and he was quick to go back to try and attempt that free, and look, it just went wide, and it would have been a great victory for Waterford at the end of the day when they seemed to be dead and buried. But I mean, great credit to their forwards, and they never allowed the dominance of the Clare half-back line as we've seen in previous games, and we didn't see Shawnee McMahon dominating, we didn't see Brian Lohan dominating, and you must give credit to Waterford forwards in that.
OK, well, Waterford were 8 points down at half-time. They came back to almost win the Munster title. We'll talk more about this game after this commercial break that's coming up. By the way, before that break, let me confirm for you that the draw for the All-Ireland hurling quarter-finals will not now be made on the Sunday game tonight as a result of that draw today in Thurles. Join us again in a few moments.
Scratch card from the National Lottery. Lots of prizes up to £5,000. 6 £1,000 prizes every day on the Des Cowell Show. It's Radio Riches.
In any game, there's only one winner. Berger Paints. Looking good. Lasting longer.
Next time you pop into the post office, why not do more?
I found out all about their tax-free savings.
We compared investment options.
Well, it's tempting, so I usually put it straight into a savings account.
The post office, helping you do more.
Denny Wafos is the finest Denny ham sliced wafer thin to melt in your mouth.
I wish you were more like Denny Wafos.
You mean you want me to be even more appealing? More irresistible? More desirable?
No. I wish you'd disappear.
The original American-style ham, Denny Wafos, made to disappear.
Which washing powder can you depend on for a really great clean and value for money? Surf. And now it's even better.
Well, yet, man. Isotonic Lucozade sport drinks are designed for top athletes. They get energy to the muscles fast. Tests show they increase their stamina and so improve sporting performance. Lucozade Sport. Dedicated to sport.
The Enna Supply Company stocks an extensive range of bathroom suites and shower units. With over a quarter of a century's experience, the Enna Supply is the best place to buy.
Head for the sale. The Semple Menswear Summer Sale is now on. Amazing value throughout the store. The Semple Menswear Summer Sale, Cork.
Feel the energy. Adidas.
You're welcome back again. So we still have to wait for another day to see who will be the champions in Munster for 1998. Tomás Mulcahy, if Clare got the ideal start to the match with that quick goal, then Waterford got the start that they needed to that second half.
Yeah, they definitely got the start they needed, and it was a tremendous goal by Anthony Kerwin, and he was a real handful for Brian Lohan all day today. And here we see the ball, and it comes on the wing. It slips in behind Brian Lohan, and he does terrific, picks it up on the first goal, and that's a tremendous shot. Gives David Fitzgerald no chance, and I think if you see that again from behind the goal, it's pinpoint accuracy across the goal to the other side, and oh, that was a great finish and a great start for Waterford.
Yeah, that was the tonic they needed, and on top of that, Pete, you had Dan the man, as we were calling him here, Dan Shanahan, scoring some lovely points and crucial points as well, the kind of stirring stuff that lifts the team.
Yeah, Dan was the one forward that really upped the tempo in the second half. He had a few wides in the first half, but at least he was getting shots on goal. And here we see a long ball in again from Frampton. Magnificent ability here to take the ball down, have a little look up, and a little quick shot. No blasting at 100 miles an hour, just get it over the bar. Dan really brought them back into the game with a few scores like that. That's very basic looking, but he scored 2 or 3 points in succession, and that seemed to lift Waterford. But then they seemed to die again for about 10 minutes, and really until Flynn got the goal, it looked as if they were going out of this match.
What a rasper of a shot this was, Tomás. I mean, there was really no stopping this.
There wasn't, and we were even debating here whether he should maybe put it over the bar and kind of hope for the puck out, that they win the puck out, that there was enough time. But it was a tremendous shot, and I mean, there was a lot of clear backs back in that goal line, and great lift, great strike, and something you see BJ Carey doing over the last number of weeks, but I mean, that was a terrific strike.
So that livened up this Munster final, although it was becoming dramatic obviously at that stage anyway, Pete. O'Connell sending off, I mean, presumably now he's ruled himself out of the next day, and this was actually silly now at this stage of the game.
It was silly, but in fairness to PJ, when you see it again, it wasn't really that malicious. It was just that the hurley was high and it came straight into the face.
I didn't mean malicious, but I mean, he shoved the hurley into his face.
It did, in fairness, but when you, at that stage in the game, every ball is vital, and here we see the skirmish again after it. But watch now. Ball breaks out, Brown gets it, makes a burst out. Now it could have hit his shoulder as easily and pushed him away. Now O'Connell tried to push him back and probably try and get a block on the ball. I'd stand up for O'Connell there. That's not that malicious, but he'll probably get a month for it, for striking with the hurley. And it was a terrible thing to do, because without a centre forward the next day, he had played well on Fergal Hartley. He had scored 2 points from play, and he was getting the ball inside to the forwards. Now they have to go and find a new centre forward for the next day, and a new sub is going to become on.
What's your view, Tomás?
I think there's a definite sending off. I mean, you just can't use a hurley like that, even to stop a defender coming out to push a guy, and it certainly got him up in the neck, and I think the referee had no choice but to send him off.
All right, who's going to win the next day?
Well, you
Big
probably
question.
It's probably putting about a few doubts about Clare now and their performance, because in the second half they only scored 6 points, and you have to give credit to the Waterford backs and to their forwards. They really put it up to Clare. They're probably in the driving seat at this stage, and they've taken a lot out of the game today. I'm sure Joel McCarthy will go away very, very happy tonight, but disappointed with the 1-2 that they put on the board in the first half. If they put over more scores, they could have easily won the game.
I guess, Pete, it was a difficult match to sort of read very closely because of that breeze. It was sort of an element into the match that wouldn't have been there, say, another day.
Yeah, in one sense I'm happy that that's a draw match and that they'll get a second chance to play, because I had anticipated a classic. When I saw the breeze this morning, I said it's going to be a game of 2 halves, and that's really what it was. And Clare probably took their chances better in the second half than Waterford did in the first. Any doubt that was in Clare or in Waterford's mind before this coming in, I'm sure there's a little bit of disbelief, having seen Clare and they were so dominant the last day. There was a little bit of disbelief there. That has to be gone now, but they have to create more on the forward line. There was really only 1 or 2 forwards that was there consistently contributing all day. So it's there for Waterford to take, but Gerald McNahan didn't know anything about Waterford coming into this game. He knows a hell of a lot more now at this stage, and knowing McNahan, he's going to be switching lads, changing lads, and there'll be a lot of changes, I'd say, the next day.
Having said all that, though, at the same time, when the Waterford players go back into training tomorrow for this replay, they'll go back knowing that, OK, there are things they can improve, but nonetheless, that they matched Clare on the day. I mean, they're not going into an All-Ireland quarter-final having been beaten 8-10 points in a Munster final and having big doubts about themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, going in at half-time, their heads probably were down. I mean, it was an 8-point deficit that they were actually losing by. And I mean, in a situation like that, you could drop your heads quite easily. And I'm sure Joel McCarthy was inside stressing with the guys, we are still very much in this game. They'll go back to training maybe on Tuesday night and their heads are going to be held very, very, very high. I mean, the support that they got today from the Water supporters, they're still back in the Munster Championship. They still have another bite of the cherry and they will be full of confidence the next day.
It's actually going to make things difficult now for the winners and indeed for the losers of the replay, in the sense that they have another tough game to face before they go into, say, the All-Ireland quarter-final. As I said, whoever loses that match. The summer's getting tough now for somebody.
It is, certainly, and Waterford had played an awful lot of hard matches to get to this level with the league semi-final, league final, and now to be in the Munster final and have a replay. And they're due to play, whoever loses the Munster final replay are due to play in 2 weeks' time. So I'm sure both managers tonight would be looking for whoever loses to push that game back a bit further, because they have taken it will take its toll. I mean, players are going through the very demanding schedules. They've played a very, very hard physical game today, and it's going to take a lot out of players.
I suppose this drawn match today, Pete, brings up another irony for Waterford in this particular summer, in the sense that in other summers they'll play probably one championship match, and at the end of it will be kind of well done but hard luck, no cigar. They've really had a big championship year this year.
They've had a huge championship league, considering like they were in the league final and straight into the championship, played Tip, played Clare, and they still have another match to come regardless of what happens. So it's been a fabulous... Another two matches, at the moment, so they've had a great year, and they're consistently getting better. And this is going to do immense amount of self-belief they're going to come into the next game with. They're going to go down Tuesday night, go to training. We can be Clare, it is now. Before this, that doubt, as I said, might have been there. It won't be there the next day. If it's a dry day, it'll suit the forwards maybe a little bit better. So they've it all to play for. They've it all to play for. It'll be a great replay, I hope, now, if there's no breeze.
Would you feel that Clare, looking at it from their point of view, would have been as well pleased? I'm not saying they would want to lose a Munster final, but at the end, if Paul Flynn's ball went over the bar, they could just say, OK, on to the All-Ireland quarter-finals, the big prize is still there. They now have to do all this again.
No, I don't think so. I think that Gerald Nan was getting little rings in his ear there. Oh, it could be Farrell next, it could be Galway, and he doesn't really want that now at this stage. The morale would be low after coming off such a high, get beaten, there'd be doubts in. The Galway team, whoever will be playing them, would have confidence coming into it. So Nan wanted the easy way. He doesn't want hardship at any stage. He'd prefer to get into the semi-final, watch what happens in the quarter-finals, and wait and see who comes through. But no, I don't think if he knew he might be playing Antrim, he might do it, but he can't afford to do that, no.
Right, Pete, a rugged enough day out there today for both teams. Good performances on both sides. We had a big debate about man of the match. Who did we pick in the end?
Yeah, in the end, we had a look at Kerwin scored 2-1 for Waterford. Jamesy had a fine display. But the man that was most consistent throughout the day, against the breeze in the first half, Tony Brown did a tremendous amount of work. And with the breeze in the second half, he was equally as good. It was an area we spoke about before the match that was vital for somebody to win, and Tony Brown went out and he won it. He contributed 3 points in total, and that's a great contribution from midfield. I think Tony deserves the watch and man of the match.
OK, well, Tony Brown certainly did all that was asked of him in this particular Munster final. Now, before that particular action at Thurles today, we had the minor final. That was between Cork and Clare. A quick look now at the highlights from that game.
Good play here by Cork. Victor Cusick. Well grabbed. And a quick ball inside using the short grasp of the hurley. Garvin McCarthy does likewise, and that's a good point. Is Daniel Fitzsimons. With him is Ronan Curran. Nice skill by that number 13, and that's a good point. Michael Morrissey again with the free. Hits it very well and very strong. Drops it down, and the ball is in the back of the net. It could well have been Garvin McCarthy, but it was a wonderful puck of a ball by the goalkeeper Michael McCarthy. Let's just see this again, as Garvin McCarthy seemed to deflect that in. A ball rolled in. Clare defence in 6s and 7s. So Cork went down, now he suddenly miraculously gets up, but Victor Cusick gets the touch, and Cork get their second goal. The ball was sent in. by Niall McCarthy. The full forward was down, but Victor Cusick seemed to get a touch and into the back of the net. And Cork used the ball with great... Oh, it comes off the post and Niall McCarthy! The Clare man had it, he lost it, he presented it, in fact, to Owen Fitzgerald. The ball came off the post. Where was the Clare defence? Nowhere to be seen, and Cahill rocketed into the net. It's a Cork man to a Cork man, as the former chairman of the Cork County Board now presents the Cork captain with the Munster Minor Trophy for '98. Cork are worthy Munster champions.
Worthy champions indeed. Big win for them in the end. They know they're into the All-Ireland semi-final. Now Clare will go to the quarter-final. Now there was another big championship match, of course, last night. This was over in the west, where Galway took on Roscommon in the Connacht final. 12 months, of course, ago, this was a very dramatic night for Galway. It was nearly a dramatic night as well from a different point of view for them last night, as Jim Carney can tell us.
Roscommon captain Mickey Cuniff set up the first goal of the game with a sideline cut, which was finished to the net by top of the right, Pat Regan. Galway got their first goal just before half-time. Kevin Broderick sent in to Joe Rabbit. He flicked it on to Alan Kearns. A good run and a lovely finish from close range. In the second half, Joe Rabbit made another Galway goal. Alan Kearns was involved again, and Dara Cohen finished. Then a tremendous goal by Roscommon centre-half forward Brendan Boyle. And this one is just as good, off a penalty by Roscommon midfielder and man of the match, Colin Kelly.
Yes, good goals there for Roscommon last night down in Dr. Hyde Park, but at the end of it all, it was Galway who come through that particular test. Let's take a check now on the weekend's results in Gaelic games. The Senior Hurling Championship in Munster, the final, Clare 116, Waterford 310. And you know what that means. Now the minor hurling final, that's the way it finished there actually between Cork and Clare in that game, 3-13 against Clare's 8 points. Last night's result finished as you just saw there on the little clip from Jim Carney, Galway winning that particular one. Now, on the Sunday game tonight, we're going to have a review of today's match. That last result there, I think, is the junior game down in Roscommon last night, by the way. Tonight, on the Sunday game at 10:20, after all the World Cup action, we'll have a look back at today's Munster final. I must remind you once again that the draw for the Championship quarterfinals won't be on the Sunday game tonight now. OK, on Airtel, you can get all the results on pages 240 and 560, county and club results, available to you there. And that's about our lot from the programme for now. Dramatic day down in Thurles. Waterford nearly pulled it off, but at the end of it all, Clare are still the Munster champions for another day at least. From Pete Finnerty and from Tomas McCahey and myself, until later on this evening, bye-bye.
Down just wind behind him from 65 metres out, and he's put it off the post and back down here again. Oh, what a chance for a goal! Here's Paul Flynn. Flynn, challenged by 2 players, had a goal chance earlier on. This is an important chance, and it's stopped again, but it's lashed in by Anthony Kerwin. Straight away, it's in towards Anthony Kerwin. Micheál White is just to his right. It's 2 against 1. What a start! Kerwin has a second goal, and Waterford have the best possible start to the second half. Frampton, a huge one down towards Paul Flynn, comes out again towards Dan Shanahan. That's another one for Dan Shanahan, and it's 2 in a row now. But here it is.